This can't be Islam. There's nothing in the Quran that says in the name of the beneficent, the merciful, the Discovery Channel store. Folks, there is fear in the food court. Ironically, the one place where all cultures are proven to flourish in harmony and profit, where the descendants of the Asiatic nomads at Panda Express can share a counter with the ancestry of the Incan tribes that now use their intellectual ferocity with which they built advanced geometrical temples to push out empanadas. When I think, folks, when I think of these murderers skulking around Nordstrom's, mocking our conspicuous consumption while believing there is more spirituality in having a tug-of-war over a rhinoceros horn with an 80-year-old midwife in a burqa in a Jalalabad outdoor bazaar, well, it makes me want to beat my breasts and cry out for God, for Williams, for Simone Noma, to protect the chastity of Lady Footlocker and the honor of Lord and Taylor. I will slay this Mohammedan and desecrate him with oils from the body shop while I stand on his bloody chest in my half-off champion sweatshirt. You people think you're pretty cool to come in as the show starts, hey? Yeah. The Red Cross said yesterday that Saddam Hussein must either be released from custody or charged by June 30th. First of all, is this what we've come to, that the Red Cross is now telling us this must happen?
Yeah.
What are they going to do, hire the Salvation Army and attack?
I think we should release him.
I do too. Send them to the Kurds in the north. There's a few parents missing kids up there that like to meet Saddam.
I think the Red Cross should be in charge of him from now on.
What's the charge? We already charged him. When we went in there, we said, you know, the president said, you're a prick. And that was it. That was the charge.
Yeah. You're evil.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, why don't we hunt him down and kill his sons and then give him a fair trial?
It's ridiculous.
You know what gets me is, too,
they laugh in our face.
The American Red Cross works for America. Wait, don't we tell them what to do? I mean, it's like, you know, if I had my own business and someone said, hey, run it this way, you're fired. You know what I mean? Who needs a Red Cross? I mean, any of us can go give Band-Aids out, you know what I'm saying?
We need the Red Cross. We had to use the Red Cross because Mothers Against Drunk Drivers were busy this weekend.
First of all, the operative thing there was if I had my own business.
Yeah.
No, I never will. I think it's the international Red Cross anyway. It's not the American Red Cross, is it?
Yeah, but since they were, you know, all those reruns of MASH, we kind of take them.
Yeah, but in the American Red Cross is the group that the guys at the top scammed the money.
Yeah, is that right?
During 9/11.
Did they really?
Yeah, of course. The show wasn't on, so you weren't keeping up with this
right.
stuff. Yeah. But they were the ones, I think, that they said, send the money here. Yeah.
They were scamming.
Yeah.
Was it the Red Cross itself? I thought it was like the mob was spraying stuff.
No, it was the Red Cross. Do you know how much gauze costs in the Gaza Strip?
Yeah. Also,
you know, the outfits.
I don't know if you noticed, too, also UNICEF said we better charge Saddam or kids won't, oh, God, I had nothing. I had something at the beginning.
You know what, though?
I saw it.
It doesn't matter. It was worth it just to hear you say UNICEF. All right, let's talk about this. A new study based on back issues of Playboy has revealed that during a good economy, men prefer younger, girlish women. A bad economy, they prefer more mature, heavier women. Let's take a look. Yeah. That's a real matronly look on it. Jesus Christ. That's offensive to Bonnie because she's Canadian. Look at that.
No, I like grannies show they're pink.
Now what?
I think there's some truth to this, though.
Really?
Yeah, because look at Bill Clinton. He presided over the best economy in years, right? And
right.
He was banging Monica Lewinsky, who, you know, I wouldn't bang during the Depression.
Both
But that was a good economy.
Yes.
So I'm saying, they say when a bad economy, you want the matronly mommy type.
Right, but with a good economy, the article that you sent us said they go for the younger girls.
Right.
Right, so I was just
I don't get young, but they meant young and thin, like Monica looks more like a mother type.
Well, that's
figure.
why I said I wouldn't bang her during the Depression if she had a $1,000 bill taped to her ass. She didn't hear that.
Well, we're having a difference of agreement on what she represents.
No, but you know what it all...
She represents a hostess at What do you mean, what does she represent? She's a fat, ugly broad. Oh, I picked on their favorite restaurant. Sorry, folks.
If a hot girl comes up to me, whether she's...
How would you know?
Okay, first of all right, well, ask your wife. Anyhow.
That's even funny because his wife's here today.
Oh, my God.
Nice. Let's talk to Bonnie, who I heard you on the road, huh? Huh? Yeah. Yeah.
There are no secrets.
Want to play with fire?
First of all
right, go
I had a
ahead.
good joke going, and you stepped on it.
Bonnie, come
I'm
back.
only kidding, Bonnie. I know you're not dating him. John Panette's more your type.
So go ahead. Who
Forget it.
cares?
How do I come back from that?
Who cares?
You don't.
No, here's the thing. If a hot girl comes up to you,
Right.
and, you know, you're not going to say, before you sleep with her, oh, I got to look at the stock market or the Dow Jones, you know. It would have been so much funnier 10 minutes ago when I started it.
I'd have taken science more seriously if the whole concept was, what kind of a scientist comes up with, let's look at these titties to see what the economy's like. What kind of bogus nonsense?
That's a genius to think of that.
They always do stuff like that.
So when it's a poor economy, they go after older, uglier chicks? Is that
Yeah,
what
they want their
more
mommy.
mother figures,
Yeah.
like a little heavier set.
Yeah,
More
So
matronly.
when you feel needy, you have your mommy
but
around.
see,
Mommy.
once again, this is an article to make men look weak and like chicks. The truth of it is, whenever guys have money, that's where the young girls go. That's really the truth of it.
That's another point.
And if a guy has extra money, you're gonna buy a Porsche. You're not gonna buy a used Honda. You're gonna go with the hot thing, no? Not to compare women and cars, because that's unfair. Because a Camry would never be your
No, I
best
love
friend.
it.
But, again, trying to step. Listen, your timing stinks today.
The bottom line is, if a girl has good credit and she could take a punch, who cares about the economy?
This show is sexist.
Yes, it is.
That was mean.
What about this? You want to talk about this mob guy? Patrick Romanello, a member of the Bonanno crime family, which you don't hear enough about, is being let out of jail to walk his daughter down the aisle. What do you think?
I wouldn't have a problem with this if it wasn't an Italian family. But you ever been to an Italian wedding? I mean, it's like trying to keep an eye on somebody at Yankee Stadium. There's 40,000 people, drunk Italians wandering around. You know what I mean? And bail money, it's $2 million bail. You could get that out of the wedding card.
The envelopes, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, it is, and it's I love Italian weddings because they're very subtle and low-key.
Well, yeah, we don't throw potatoes like your people. Just trying to keep it moving.
I once went to an Italian wedding, and literally, they had them coming out of like a giant shell from underneath. That with 2001 playing, an egg opened. People in Howard. I think it was in Howard.
How's he going to walk down the aisle with handcuffs, shackles, and his ass bleeding coming out of jail?
Wow.
That's tough talk.
Shackles?
Shackles, I said.
Shackle. I think that's shackle.
I know.
Mobsters
I really
don't seem that
misunderstood.
scary anymore. The
Mobsters
terrorists
don't?
and stuff, they seem adorable.
Because of The Sopranos?
Yeah, they're wonderful.
Yes, they really are. They've done a lot of, hey, if it wasn't for mobsters, who would have run those one-nighters in Jersey that he made a living out of already? We'll be right back.
Wow.
ABC pulled Jimmy Kimmel's show off the air last Tuesday for the night because he made a comment during this halftime NBA Finals show. Watch what he said.
I mean, besides the fact that I'm a Laker fan, I realize that they're going to burn the city of Detroit down if the Pistons win. And it's not worth it.
Now, people were outraged, I guess the affiliates, as they call them. I still don't know what that is after all these years.
I think
in the business. What?
he should be applauded for telling a joke. That's a big step for him.
I think it's a joke.
But did you see what they did? The affiliate in Detroit is going to run an old Wayne Brady show.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, is that a reason to burn a city to the ground?
I mean, what do you think about that? Is that yelling fire in a crowd? But I mean, every city, that's what happens after these, people burn down a city. What's wrong with him saying that? Maybe if people acknowledge it ahead of time, we won't act like it's such a shocking thing.
The best thing that could happen for Detroit is a fire. You ever been to that place? It makes Newark look like the Taj Mahal. It's a
But
dump.
now they'll be pulling your show. It's the statement. It's just the statement of the obvious. And in the end, you know, if Detroit wanted to pull it, I get that. Detroit going, you know, kiss off. Right. I get that. But the thing is, you know, to take the show off because of what he said, and to not take the show off because of what it is. Right. Then there's a show that you just removed. Please. I mean, I granted Wayne Brady, but even just an hour of kind of a test pattern where you whistle to yourself.
Exactly.
It's psychotic. That show's psychotic. You know that. Don't look at me like I'm crazy.
Jeez.
I'm trying to make...
Between him and Rich, we need a couple of, you know, sweatbands.
No, visor. You're talking about
visor. I'm drunk. Listen.
Are you...
A little bit. I had a couple rum of Cokes.
Before the show, what the heck's going on?
Why not? Jesus.
I don't know, Mickey. Sometimes I think, you know, you really... Go ahead.
But it's Disney. Once again, a white guy said something about race being punished by liberal whites. Let me tell you something. If Detroit wins tonight and there is a riot and they burn the city down, Disney should send him to Disney World for free. You know, they go, Jimmy Kimmel, the Pistons just won the 2004 NBA championship. What are you going to do? I'm heading to Epcot Center with a blowtorch.
I'll tell you the truth. I can't trash Kimmel because I did his show and I'm trying to get rebooked.
You told me you still got connections over at Spike TV, right? All right, look at this. Let's look at this. Cook at Denny's in Illinois, 5 counts of aggravated battery for lacing brownies and marijuana and mixing his semen into the restaurant special. All right? So...
Now you're confusing it.
What I don't like... What do you guys think about this?
I think there's going to be a long line of gay guys at Denny's tomorrow night in Illinois. Banging on the window.
Louis, what do you think?
I think it's Atkins approved. You know, it gives it a solid protein base.
He did it in the salad dressing. Yeah. He did it in the honey mustard dressing. Yeah. He should be promoted. Have you ever had the honey mustard dressing?
I go into Denny's and I just say, take the honey mustard and throw it in my face.
Your face?
Anybody?
What is it?
It's brownies with the...
Look at Bonnie going for that. Come on, Ricky.
Nah.
This is good jizz. Whose is it?
Can I just say one thing to you guys are such 13-year-olds. You're like, I'm not touching that queer thing. No, you know it's not jizz.
The only reason
I know that's not jizz, but I'm not sure that's a fudge.
Yeah.
That's a big question.
But don't you think a guy like this should be killed for doing something like that? All jokes aside, if you were eating that, wouldn't you want him dead? You know, there's 5 counts of bag.
They won the Louisiana chili cook-off. Did you know that?
Here's the thing. Everybody, like, when I go out to a restaurant, it's true. I'll only take... I'll only eat, like, mustard and ketchup out of sealed. You know, I don't want milk, anything.
No,
by the way, do you notice? Yeah, well, that's what fast food restaurants have.
No, but, but anything, because I don't, you know, I don't trust...
He doesn't get it.
I don't trust anything.
Listen, stupid. You know what you said when I go out to restaurants and you went right to the rip-off. Everybody knows you're a chiseler and you go to fast food and apply for it. When I go dining, I only use the mustard to rip-off.
Hey, Bonnie, he's blowing all money on you, huh? Have some relish, honey. I had a good week. It's like Polly Walnuts. Mix it with the relish.
What were you saying, Rich?
Forget about it.
You don't ask for the whole ketchup thing and look through the jar for 20 minutes? Wow.
No, I mean, in New York, they have salad bars open to the public. Who would, I mean, why don't they just call them hepatitis bars? You know, people in there. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather make out with Jim Norton than eat off on one of those salad bars.
I don't know which part they were offended by. But I'm offended by one part. See, I have a steel trap memory. 7 years ago, I was the one who used to do a bit, and this is when Hep C was a hip reference. Yeah. And I said, those salad bars, it's nice to share it with a hooker from 11th Avenue with Hep C going to the Bean. Yeah. Shut up and let me finish. Over the years, I stopped doing the bit. Somehow it morphed into a stupid attempt at a joke right in front of my face.
First of all,
we'll be right back. over the fact that we don't go outside enough and shoot stuff that he wants to do in my stupid monologue and expect me not to notice it. So we sent out Nick DiPaolo. I remember. So, and that was mine, 7 years ago. We sent Nick DiPaolo to talk to New Yorkers for a segment we call Street Questions. Nick?
Thanks, Colin. Today we're talking to women about two handsome guys who are in the news lately. Let's watch. 10 years ago this week, O.J. Simpson's wife was murdered. By who? Hey, who knows? But right now there's another wife murder trial going on, Scott Peterson. And we're here to find out who the sexier wife murderer is. Let's ask a few of these people and see what they have to say. Which wife murderer do you find sexier? O.J. or Scott Peterson? If you had a choice to sleep with, who would you pick, Vanessa?
Oh, Scott, hands down. He helps.
Both of you go with Scott?
Definitely. He's more my type.
So you like a guy with ratty lips and beady eyes and dry blood in his hair?
All right, if we had to, seriously?
Yeah, if you had to. Let's say if somebody held a gun to you, a knife to your throat.
Definitely gotta be Scott.
Scott?
O.J. Simpson.
And you like O.J. You're the first O.J.
I would like some milk in my coffee.
You like milk in your coffee. You like milk in your coffee. And you like what, blood in your coffee? How about a young O.J.? How about, O.J. back when he murdered his wife? I don't know that.
He doesn't look like the athlete he once was in that picture.
No, but you know what he does look like? He looks like he's staring at a white girl's ass in that picture. Have you ever dated anybody that was kind of a roughneck?
No.
No? Have you ever dated a black guy?
I haven't.
You haven't?
No.
You're not racist, are you?
Well, my fiance is Filipino.
Oh,
So,
okay,
no.
definitely not.
Yeah,
You have
no.
very low standards.
Yeah.
Have you dated white men? No. No? And you've dated nobody with a record? That's hard to believe.
I think women like that men would kill for them.
But see, they didn't kill for them. They'll kill you. There's a big difference.
Wow, Nick, you really are a man about town. You're a bon vivant.
I beg your pardon?
Bonnie, let me ask you something.
Yes, sir.
What do you think about that segment, what it says about women? Do you think it says anything about them?
Yeah, I think women are cool. They will sleep with anyone. If you're not getting laid twice a week, guys, you're disgusting. Wake up call.
Either that or you're not stabbing anybody.
You know what I liked out of that, or I got out of it, is at least the white girls picked the white guy, so we know they get along with their father in life.
I mean, if I say that I'm a racist guinea, he gets a laugh. What is this? I don't understand.
I think a laugh was the opposite thing. Louis, let me ask you something. Louis, do you ever feel like you should have been a badder boy? Like, were you growing up, were you a bad boy, or?
I wasn't even close. I was a sissy. I was so busy building a pedestal to put the woman on that by the time I was done, I had to take a nap.
So which one of those two would you sleep with?
Well, what do you think?
All right, we'll be right back. Nick will be back next week with another question. The Stepford Wives proves nothing says I love you more than turning your spouse into a submissive robot. If you could create the perfect husband and wife, what would they be like? Louis!
My perfect mate would be God with breasts. And if she's already got them, even better. I mean, talk about the rapture. She would know what I was thinking and could explain it to me. She could smote anyone I wanted and get me anything I needed. And I'd be assured salvation, which for a Jew is hard to come by.
All right. Bunny!
Well, I would like my male life partner to be successful, funny, and spiritual. In other words, a gay Scientologist actor. What could be better than being a beard and having your very own personal queer eye guy? It's kind of amazing to me that these marriages don't work out more often. What goes wrong after 10 years of fake marriage? Tom, I've asked you repeatedly to stop sucking in the kitchen.
All right, Rich!
My perfect mate would be someone who shares the same interests as me. Golf, working out. Also, my mate must never want to show affection and hates to cuddle. The only time my mate wants to hold my hand is when I am being pulled out of quicksand. And most of all, being I am a Jew, he must be circumcised.
All right. Nick!
My ideal wife would have a beautiful face, a rock-hard body, no vocal cords, and should be mildly retarded. Just smart enough to find a way home from Pilates class, but not quite smart enough to understand how to use a credit card. And oh yeah, did I mention bisexual?
That's the show, everybody!
Rich Voss frequently cut himself off in mid-joke, admitting he's got nothing.
Right.
Do you think his honesty endears him to the audience?
I do. I think that Rich is, but that's what's funny, is when people kind of, just roll with it and don't try to, Although when he said mate at the end during